So, in my narcissistic, toxic family system of origin, these tornadoes of rage that came from my dad were actually kind of uncommon. But bad cop, that was my mom. That's why I have this t shirt. And I thought I talked about this before, but my mother was my daily abuser. And what was my crime, pray tell? From my mother, who I realized from about the age of 3 was tone deaf. I got beaten for playing the wrong note on the violin, even though I'm not tone deaf. We basically all got smacked whenever she was pissed off, and the rule of our house was to hide so she couldn't find us. One of my sisters remembers her like being on the rampage and how she sometimes helped us hide, and she would take our beatings for us to protect us. We would tell our dad. We would say, look what she did. Here's the bruise. And he would say that she was abused as a child, that her mother would pick up a sandal, any object, and beat them till they were like senseless, unconscious. That he'd witnessed this when he'd gone home to visit my mother's parents. And so our mother was an improvement. You see, she was more virtuous because she had a wooden spoon drawer. And she literally had to think about, Will I beat my child? Am I going to do this? Well, she walked to the drawer to get the spoon. And so our father said this was a virtue. This was a good thing. And so did she. I remember one time she had a plastic spoon that was her special favorite when we were really bad. And one time I decided to destroy that spoon and melted it on the stove. She responded by getting a metal one with slits in it. For the longest time, I wouldn't even own a wooden spoon, have one in my house at all, because my intention with raising my kids was not to repeat the pattern of abuse. So, when I was pregnant with my first baby, I researched how not to be like my mom. Isn't that a nice inheritance? And I discovered attachment parenting. My oldest child is 26, and all of my kids were raised without being spanked. I even had my youngest complaining because we weren't spanking him. Please give me a spanking! Please give me a spanking! And I'm proud of that legacy. Was I perfect? No. I have one child that wet the bed a lot, and I would kind of smack him on the head. And then I would stop myself because I didn't want to continue those patterns. I'm telling you, those cycles are able to be broken. This is why I'm on TikTok, is to shine a mirror in the faces of people who abuse and people who think it's acceptable to mistreat children who have no rights at all. We can do better. We must do better.